Midas is a very interesting character in Fortnite's storyline. He seems to appear almost in every single season, but the real question is, who really is Midas? Where has Midas been this whole time? And why has Midas come back to the island? And is the Midas we see in this season the same as the Midas from previous seasons? Stay tuned till the end of the video to find out. The story of Midas is a very interesting one. Starting long ago, there was a mighty ruler named Midas, also known as the Golden King, but his own greed became his biggest downfall. He was granted a gift that turned everything he touched into gold. At first he rejoiced, until later he realized it was truly a curse. Food would crumble into lifeless metal, water would harden in his hands, and the warmth of a human touch was lost to him forever. Yet, Midas did not perish. Cursed to walk the world as an undead, he hid among the living, disguising his true nature. But his greatest tragedy struck when he accidentally turned his own daughter into gold. Desperate and broken, he ended up finding a way to bring her back, but at what cost? Though she lived again, her trust in him was shattered beyond repair. Before the rise of Shadow, Midas had a vision to build an empire of espionage, deception, and domination. To bring this dream to life, he handpicked three exceptional individuals: the Burning Wolf, Chaos Origins, and Sierra. Together, they became the first Shadows, the foundation of his grand design. Each operative earned a title reflecting their role in Midas's legacy: his first enforcer, his first redeemed, and his first pardoned. With them, the seeds of Midas's crew were sown, marking the beginning of an era shrouded in mystery and power. Where has Midas been this whole time? Well, if we go back to Chapter 2, that is where we first meet Midas. A new faction emerged within Midas's crew, that faction being Ghost. Ghost ended up rising as a formidable rival to the Shadow. The Imagined Order enlisted Ghost's expertise to explore and map Apollo, unaware that Shadow had also begun its own operations on the island. This led to a power struggle between the two groups of Ghost and Shadow, clashing in a conflict that fractured Midas's once unified crew. If we go back and look, the first time we actually see Midas in Fortnite is actually Chapter 2 Season 1. There was a landmark called Island, and Midas had ended up choosing this as his new base for Ghost, likely aware of the 0 point hidden beneath its surface. Before seizing full control and transforming it into the agency, he left his mark, turning furniture and objects in the house to gold with just his touch. A single Ghost folder remained atop a golden toilet, a silent testament to his growing influence. His golden hand would later appear in multiple trailers for Chapter 2 Season 2. Speaking of Chapter 2 Season 2, this is when we finally get our first look at Midas, and we got our first skin of him. Midas established the Agency, a covert spy organization operating under the Ghost's faction of his crew. Headquartered on Island, the Agency became a stronghold of intelligence and power. Midas also possessed a luxurious yacht, complete with the shadow of himself, a true testament to his vanity and influence. Meanwhile, Shadow countered by setting up multiple safe houses across the island. As tensions escalated, the remaining neutral operatives Brutus, Tiantina, and Sky were forced to choose sides, which ended up fueling an all-out war between Ghost and Shadow. Throughout Chapter 2 Season 2, Midas, with the help of his daughter Jules, secretly constructed a powerful device designed to destroy the storm. It was hidden beneath the Agency, possibly pointed directly above the 0 point. This device was his boldest move yet. Inside Midas's room, clues to obsession with controlling fate. His journal contained a sketch of Oro's scepter, alongside a mysterious symbol representing the storm. A suit resembling that of a tempest suggested he was prepared to challenge the very forces of nature. As the countdown to activation began, anticipation built throughout the entire Agency. On June 15th, 2020, we had the device event. Midas's plan was set into motion as his voice and those of henchmen echoed throughout the air. The device emerged from its hidden chamber, rising from beneath the Agency. For a moment, it seemed as though Midas had succeeded, but fate had other plans. The storm retaliated, transforming into an immense wall of water, throwing the loop into chaos and destabilizing reality itself. During the event, files on Midas, Jules, and Lynx were discovered in Agent Jones' office, confirming that the Imagined Order had been monitoring them closely. In the wake of the failed experiment, Shadow ultimately overpowered Ghost, seizing control of the Agency. Though Midas appeared aligned with Shadow, he remained the true leader of Ghost. lurking in the shadows. Realizing his time at the agency had ended, Midas handed control over to Jules, who rebuilt the structure, transforming it into Shadow's new headquarters. With this shift, the battle between the factions entered a new era, one shaped by betrayal, ambition, and the relentless pursuit of power. Then we have Chapter 2 Season 3, which kicks off with a trailer that showcases the new season, and in this trailer, we end up seeing Midas getting eaten by a shark. Now, a lot of people, including me, thought that was it for Midas, but oh man, were we wrong. As Chapter 2 Season 4 neared its end, a vengeful Midas sought to reclaim his power. Through a dark ritual involving his own chair, embracing the forces of darkness, he became Shadow Midas, determined to seize control of the island during the Midas's Revenge event. Now as a formidable boss at the ruins, the remains of the authority, Shadow Midas wielded his own shadow drum gun, and commanded an army of reawakened ghost henchmen. Using his newfound power, he hacked the reboot system and the loop itself, eliminating reboot cards and ensuring that any eliminated loopers would return as shadows under his command. With each fallen warrior reborn into his ghostly legion, his influence spread across the island. However, his reign of terror was short-lived. His plan unraveled when Galactus arrived, and obliterating the runes alongside with the island's center eye. With his shadow form stripped away, Midas returned to his former self, only to forge a new path. This time though, preparing for a battle in a powerful custom-built armor. In Chapter 2 Season 5, Marigold, a member of Midas's crew, arrived on the island, bearing the same cursed golden touch as Midas himself. While uncovering the island's secrets, she discovered that someone has been spending Midas's gold. Determined to seek revenge, she enlisted the help of the loopers, setting her sights on tracking down the culprit and reclaiming what was rightfully his. In Chapter 2 Season 7, we see Marigold, Midas, and Jules. They were seen coordinating a plan, hinting at something big unfolding. Marigold mentioned the need for a getaway driver, instructing Jules to stick to the plan and telling Midas it's happening soon, suggesting a major event was on the horizon. The next time we see Midas is during the Cosmic Summer event. Midas reappears as a Midsummer Midas, alongside with Jules and Brutus, seemingly on an undercover mission. This mission was likely related to the invasion of the last reality. Disguised in an attire representing Ghost, he was seen bonding with Jules on the beach. However, soon after Midas unexpectedly handed control of his crew to Brutus, he vanished without explanation, prompting Marigold to begin searching for him. During the event Skyfire, remnants of Midas' influence, his signature chair, a golden Peely statue, and golden bars from the hideout were discovered inside the mothership, hinting at his lingering presence. In Chapter 3, we continue to see Midas, but he is influencing from the shadows. Clues of Midas's whereabouts in Season 1 emerged across the island, including golden artifacts, napkins from the yacht, his device book from the hideout, and golden pillows from Island. A secret hideout in Covert Cavern contained a golden llama, while the golden look board description hinted that Midas was still watching from the shadows. In Season 3, Meowskulls locates Midas and asked if they were back online, but the answer seemed to be no. In Chapter 4, Midas rejects Wildcard's proposal for a heist, while Scrap Knight Jules warned that she no longer wanted a part of any of his schemes. The next time we see Midas is in Chapter 4 Season 3. Midsummer Meowskulls refused a covert ops mission with Midas, choosing relaxation instead. However, Stingray, a shadow agent under Chaos Agent orders, forcibly took Meowskulls away for an unknown operation. Now in Chapter 4 Season 4, we end up seeing Kato Thorn's betrayal. Kato Thorn arrived on the island and he stole Midas's drum gun, locking it in his vault beneath Eclipsed E-State. Traveling through time, Thorn ended up cutting off Midas's left hand and put it on display in his collection, also stealing Oro's head. During Fortnitemares 2023, Thorn transformed into his Revenant form and ended up taking the drum gun for himself to use against players. In Chapter 5 Season 1, Midas's related artifacts resurfaced across the island, his hideout chair at Cloistered Castle, relics of his crew on a tiny island northeast of the map, and his yacht now under the Society's control. In Chapter 5 Season 2, we finally get to see the rise of Midas. After not seeing him for so long and him operating in the shadows, it was revealed in the Rise of Midas quests that since his death, Midas has been trapped in the underworld, bound by the chains of Hades, which ended up suppressing his gold touch. Following a series of clues, Marigold suspected his location expedition and reunited Midas's old crew, which was Brutus, Sky, Meowscles, Tiantina, and Jules, to reclaim his yacht from the Society. Marigold and Boardwalk Ruby worked together to locate Midas. Unaware of Kato Thorne's attack, she later sent the Looper to investigate Midas's underworld cell, only to discover that he had already escaped. A brief moment of weakness from one of his guards allowed Midas to touch his chains, turning both the chains and the guard into gold, before breaking free. Now liberated and infused with mythological aesthetics and shade powers, Midas reunited with his agents. However, he became very suspicious of Brutus, fearing a betrayal. After sending the Looper to confirm Brutus's loyalty, it was revealed that Brutus had remained faithful this whole time and ended up rejoining Midas's crew. A mysterious mutual contact requested Jules to study the chains of Hades in hopes of sealing Midas's golden touch. Through her research, she discovered a strange essence within the gates of the underworld and used it to forge new gauntlets, allowing Midas to control his curse at will. Despite their strained relationship though, Jules was relieved by her father's return and the two reconciled. Now with Midas's crew fully reunited, Midas set his sights on escaping the island. While his agents created distractions across Helios, Midas temporarily escaped to Spawn Island, leaving Brutus behind to prepare the Marigold for the final departure. In the end, the crew successfully escaped aboard the Marigold, disappearing into the unknown to pursue Midas's next mission. Now after this season, we don't see any mention of Midas in the next upcoming seasons. That is, though, until we got the live event for Chapter 6 Season 1. Now at the end of this event, we end up seeing all this gold on the mountain where Diego and the Shogun were fighting. And you know, anytime we see gold, you know Midas is around the corner. In Chapter 6 Season 2, we finally get to see Midas return, resuming his criminal activities. This time, however, though, against an old rival, Baron Fletcher Kane, who has monopolized the island's gold and establishing himself as a mob don. However, Vengeance Joan and Skillet suspected that Midas had a much larger scheme at play. Meanwhile, Cassidy Quinn, an outlaw and a devoted fan of Midas's legendary exploits, made a shocking realization. Her idol wasn't just a story. He was real, and his game was far from over. Now the next question a lot of people wonder is this Midas the same Midas we have known this whole time, or is it a different Midas? Well, we know this is the same Midas since the beginning of Chapter 2, because if you go up to Hope as Outlaw Midas, you get a special dialogue. The same goes for if you go up to Outlaw Midas as Marigold. If you also go up to Outlaw Midas as some of the members from Chapter 2 Season 2, you also get some interesting dialogue indicating that it's the same Midas from before. So I wonder, what really is Midas's true intentions, and what will he do next as the story progresses? For me personally, I don't see Midas going anywhere for such a long time, because it seems that he is one of Epic's favorite characters in this storyline. He is also one of my favorite characters in the storyline as well. Just learning about the history of him and all the different things that he's done since we originally seen him in Chapter 2 Season 1. That's gonna be it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments if you're excited to see where Midas goes in the story, and if you like Midas as a character as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one.